Lamar Jackson. So I did an all-time quarterback pyramid that I'm getting some pushback on because it was, I'll try to do it off the top of my head, but here's, it's a pyramid, so it's one guy in row 1, 2 in row 2, so on and so forth. And this was the pyramid. Row 1 was Brady. Row 2 was Mahomes and Manning. Row 3 was Montana, Elway, and Marino. So there's the top 6. Row 4 was Rodgers, Favre, Staubach, and Steve Young. Steve Young, who I think's eternally underrated. I think Steve Young, the only quarterback I've ever seen that Mahomes reminds me of is Steve Young. And then row 5 was Bradshaw, Breeze, Kurt Warner, Aikman, and then in the last spot was Lamar, which means I had him ahead of Big Ben, Jim Kelly, and this was post-merger, so I'm not counting Bart Starr and Johnny Unitas and those guys. Had him ahead of, if you guys in the control room think there's anyone else, those, fringe, that I didn't mention, tell me. But I had him ahead of every one of those guys. And I called him a Hall of Famer. I want to be very clear on this. Calling him a Hall of Famer is not really a judgment call at this point. He has 2 MVPs. I'm assigning him this year's MVP because he's going to win it. That makes him a Hall of Famer. Here's the full list of people with multiple NFL MVPs. Peyton Manning's got 5. Aaron's got 4. Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas, Brett Favre, Tom Brady have 3. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Kurt Warner, Patrick Mahomes all have 2. And now so does Lamar Jackson. Kurt Warner got in. He didn't get in on his first year of eligibility, but he got in, and I don't think many people were worried that he wasn't going to get in. Steve Young got in either on his first or second year of eligibility. Everyone else was a first ballot guy. It is unequivocal that Lamar Jackson with 2 MVPs is going to be a Hall of Famer. And if you want to argue like that putting him in that pantheon is too premature, he now has the pelts on the wall that says it's not. Now, as far as this game itself, people are wondering, all right, we have been trying to create a Brady Manning for Patrick Mahomes. And it was Josh Allen. People briefly flirted with the idea of it being Burrow. They then really tried to sell us all week last week again that it was Josh Allen. And now people want it to be Lamar. And I talked about this on the TV show, but it's worth time again here. People are misremembering what Brady Manning was. Brady Manning was a legitimate, real debate that there was not a vast majority on one side or the other for the entirety of Peyton Manning's career when Brady and Manning's career when they overlapped. So let me lay it out for you, okay? Let's go to heading into the 2006 NFL season. Up to that point, and I want to make sure I have this right, Peyton Manning already had 2 league MVPs, and Tom Brady hadn't sniffed one. Conversely, up to that point, they had played twice in the playoffs. Peyton hadn't played well in either game. Brady had beaten him both times, and Brady had 3 rings. So in the mid-2000s, it was, will one guy eye test, accolades, stats is so clearly better. The other guy, on the other hand, has 3 Super Bowl rings, is 2-0 against him in the playoffs. You could make strong arguments on either side. Then, in the 2006 season, they play once again in the playoffs. Tom Brady, but for the first time, it's in Peyton's building. Tom Brady's team is up 21-3 at halftime. It looks like it's going to just be another time the Patriots roll. Peyton's team storms all the way back, then goes on to win the Super Bowl 2 weeks later, and now the playoff matchups are 2-1, the Super Bowls are 3-1, but Peyton's got a couple MVPs. Okay? Smash cut now forward 5 more years. Tom Brady now has won a couple MVPs and has made a couple more Super Bowls, but has lost them both. Peyton made another Super Bowl, won another 2 MVPs, but didn't win the Super Bowl. Peyton goes to Denver. They play in the postseason in Denver. Peyton outplays him. Peyton's team wins. Peyton wins his 5th MVP. Has a 55 touchdown season. The playoff records are now 2-2. Peyton is now going to another Super Bowl. In that, Tom Brady hasn't won a Super Bowl in a decade. In that moment, most people thought Brady Manning is Peyton. Okay? They then lose that Super Bowl. The Patriots win the next year. So now it's 4-1 Super Bowls. Peyton then in 2015, they play again in the playoffs. Peyton beats him again, even though Peyton that year was not good. The Broncos win the Super Bowl, and Peyton retires. So the day Peyton retired, the ledger looked like this. It was MVPs were 5-2 Peyton. Playoff matchups were 3-2 in Peyton's favor. Super Bowls were 4-2 in Brady's favor. And a lot of people, the day Peyton Manning retired, believed that's the best quarterback of his generation. And then after he retired, Tom Brady in 2016 went to the Super Bowl, had the 28-3 comeback, got his 5th ring. In 2017, went to the Super Bowl, threw for 500 yards, lost in a shootout, and won league MVP. 2018, went to beat Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game in a classic, went to the Super Bowl, won it. That's his 6th ring. 2019, last year with the Patriots. 2020, went to Tampa Bay, went to the Super Bowl, won Super Bowl MVP and won it. 2021, came in 2nd in league MVP. And now Peyton, Tom, it's not even a debate. So, but for the entirety of when their careers overlapped, there were strong arguments on both sides of it. So I give that history to say this. There is no goddamn Peyton Brady for Mahomes anyone. There is no argument. There is no rival. Now, it doesn't mean no one will ever beat him. Hell, Joe Burrow beat him. Lamar might beat him on Sunday. We'll see. But it is far, far closer to Tiger Phil or Gretzky Lemieux or Gretzky Messier than anything we've seen in the NFL. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.